University, a time for learning, growing, and having fun. But at what cost? Is attending university worth it? The hypothesis to be tested in this analysis is attending university to study economics is broadly beneficial for an individual. Some of the economics tools which will be used to analyse the hypothesis are cost-benefit analysis, investment returns ratio, opportunity costs, marginal changes, and a consciousness regarding assumption. Cost-benefit analysis is an analysis of the total costs and total benefits of a decision. If the benefits outweigh the costs, then the choice is beneficial overall. Another way to consider this is through the ratio of investment to returns, how much one spends versus how much one makes. When calculating these costs, economists also consider opportunity costs, the value of the best alternative foregone when an actor chooses between mutually exclusive options. Marginal changes are incremental changes to something which provide a relativistic assessment of data. Often it's not useful to know the difference between no course of action and the most intense version. Here, comparing a graduate to someone with no qualifications is not as helpful as comparing a graduate to someone with A-levels, as someone looking to get a degree probably has some qualifications already. One more useful economic tool for this exercise is an awareness of the assumptions which one employs when making this decision. The world is too complex to try to calculate things the way they are. That which we don't think will have much impact on our results, but which complicates our calculations, we ignore. Lifetime earnings are earnings for an individual throughout their life. Employment opportunities are the likelihood of an individual finding work, and present values are the value of something, perhaps money, at the point it is spent, not factoring in the interest it would have gained if invested. An effort was also made to consider some atypical measures, such as the happiness of graduates versus non-graduates, and the value of the singular experience of student life, in addition to typical economic measures. The hypothesis will thereby be analysed through 7 key questions. 1. Do graduates earn more than non-graduates? 2. Do economic graduates earn more than other graduates? 3. Does an economics degree positively impact on employment prospects? 4. Are graduates happier than non-graduates? 5. What experiences are unique to attending university? 6. What are the opportunity costs of attending university? And 7. How did the benefits of attending university compared to the costs? So what assumptions are being made throughout this analysis? Firstly, we assume that we can treat graduates as a singular group. Even when broken down by degree, the assumption that anybody who studies economics is interchangeable is being made. Likewise, there's an assumption being made that people who don't attend university are also similar enough to draw broad conclusions about them. This second pairing of assumptions are regarding the measurability of both the costs and the benefits of attending university. This is where our key questions break down into typical economic quantifiers, such as salary and employment prospects, and atypical measures, happiness and the university experience. The final assumption, that university attendance is causal to the outcomes measured. Do economics graduates succeed because of their degree, or do successful people study economics? The data could demonstrate a positive correlation between university attendance and future employment, earnings, etc., but correlation does not imply causation. Question 1. Do graduates earn more than non-graduates? By looking at the earnings of graduates in comparison to those of non-graduates, a specific value can be assigned as part of a return on investment for attending university. The data is readily available as income and education level are collected by the government. The ONS publishes data of median hourly rates from 2010, broken down by degree level. There's a very clear positive relationship between education level and median hourly income. This table also indicates the increase from baseline of GCSE, which is useful but not perfect for the kind of evaluation we're doing, because we're assuming that the individual has already gone as far as A-level or further education. This is the ideal time to calculate the marginal change because it facilitates analysis of the increase each new step on the qualification ladder. The table here also includes inflation-adjusted figures from 2010 to 2015, which contextualizes the data. So a simple comparison shows that not only do higher levels of education yield higher incomes, but the rate of that increase also increases the more educated the individual. Do graduates earn more than non-graduates? Yes, they do. Question 2. Do economics graduates earn more than other graduates? This is useful because it helps tackle the specificity of the hypothesis. This chart depicts the average salary for graduates by degree. Unfortunately, the ONS doesn't publish data which relates specifically to economics graduates. The average for social sciences and law, as well as business and finance, can be used as a proxy and come out the same. The average salary for an economics graduate could be expected to be around £30,000 annually. Fortunately, the Sutton Trust does publish data broken down more specifically by degree subject to the mean starting salary. The assumption being made here is that higher starting salaries indicate higher salaries over a lifetime. Economics is the third highest earnings group after medicine and engineering. It's useful to know that social sciences are relatively low on this spectrum and business studies are middling, indicating that economics does not really fit into this cohort and that the ONS data might not be a good proxy. Do economics graduates earn more than other graduates? For the most part, with a starting salary of around £25,000. Question 3. Does an economics degree positively impact on employment prospects? Security in employment is an important factor to consider besides salary when looking at the prospects for an individual. This ONS data, broken down by education level, indicates higher employment levels for graduates versus non-graduates, which is expected. Again, using the data from the ONS, we can look somewhat more specifically at employment level or a rough proxy for economics graduates. It's slightly higher than average for graduates, though not dramatically. The assumption could be made that as the salary for economics graduates was higher than that for the ONS categories, the employment level could be equally increased, though additional gains in this regard aren't really needed to justify the degree. Does an economics degree positively impact on employment prospects? A degree certainly, and an economics degree slightly more so. Question 4. Are graduates happier than non-graduates? To assess the breadth of impact that an economics degree can have on an individual, factors less conventional or easy to measure should be considered. While wealth and employment are favourable options, they aren't necessarily universal outcomes. Happiness is, almost by definition, a universally desired outcome. Daniel Kahneman and Andrew Deaton published a notable study in 2010 which outlined the role that income plays in two kinds of happiness: the life evaluation, the way an individual feels about the progress made in their life thus far, and emotional well-being, a self-assessment of their happiness from the previous day. The most significant two factors affecting the life evaluation measure were education level and income, the former being the thing we're trying to directly measure the impact of, and the latter we know is a result of the former already. This means that there's a secondary effect that education has through income, thus compounding the impact that education plays. With regards to emotional well-being, the study found that income played a more limited role, with well-being being increased up to those earning under $75,000 or around £50,000. As people earning less than this are generally subjected to more stresses, and any stresses caused by other factors are magnified. After that amount, however, more money did not improve emotional assessments, demonstrating a marginal utility for income in that regard. Income has a diminishing return with regards to emotional well-being. A 2002 paper published by Blanchard and Oswald in the Journal of Public Economics looked into data to apply an economic view on the many causes of happiness, including education. It found both direct effects when controlling for income, as well as indirect effects. Education level still had a causal positive impact on happiness. Another study conducted in Spain largely confirmed this direct and indirect, both through salary and employability, causal link between education and happiness. Though as happiness is defined by Blanchard and Oswald, it is restrictively similar to the life evaluation measurement as defined by Kahneman and Deaton. Therefore, it's not possible to draw conclusions to the day-to-day emotional well-being of an individual as it relates to education. A review of the literature largely confirmed these findings, though it did find some flaws with the methodology, such as the use of subjective well-being assessments. Are graduates happier than non-graduates? While there are limitations to researchers' ability to accurately measure and control for such factors, it does appear that education level has an impact on happiness, both indirectly through an increase in employment and income, as well as directly. Question 5. What experiences are unique to attending university? All of the measures for the potential benefits for attending university thus far have been focused on the benefits of obtaining a degree, rather than those of the student experience. Students are a singular group in most societies due to the number of factors, some of which are inherent to the student life, such as access to resources, living situations, and some of them stem from the student cohort being comprised of mostly young people, many of whom are living away from home for the first time. So when paying for university, it's natural to assess the results of obtaining a degree, because it will have more measurable impacts and over a longer term. However, the experience had by an individual while studying also acts as an incentive for attending university for many. Naturally, though, these kinds of experiences are both difficult to measure and deeply personal. Therefore, they're only going to be given lip service in this analysis, such as its scope. Suffice it to say that there are additional benefits and perhaps some costs not considered here. Question 6. What are the opportunity costs of attending university? Now the benefits of attending university have been analysed, onto the costs. When considering the costs of attending university, it's important to consider the opportunity costs. Those are the next best alternative. Opportunity costs are a good tool for economic analysis, differentiating it from accounting. Assuming the next best alternative is working, we can calculate the opportunity cost by taking a reasonable estimate of the salary somebody not attending university would be earning and work it out over the 3 years. Say an economic student would have earned £9.80 an hour before enrolling, we can easily calculate their annual and therefore degree period earnings of around £45,000. Question 7. How do the benefits of attending university compare to the costs? So now the costs and the benefits have been analysed, a comparison can be made with the cost and the benefit, a cost-benefit analysis. As applying a monetary value to some of the benefits analysed thus far would be complex, just the fiscal benefits will be looked at to see if they justify the cost. Firstly, the amount of their student loan an economics graduate is likely to repay needs to be calculated. Using a tool by financial journalist Martin Lewis, the likely amount from given starting salaries can be calculated. The data found when researching earnings of economics graduates can be used here. The likely amount to be repaid is therefore around £35,000. For context, we can see the value of just £19,000 when inflation is excluded, which would be the upfront cost. This demonstrates the importance of present values in this calculation. There's a significant difference between the present value cost of attending university and the inflation-adjusted cost. The loan repayment plus the opportunity cost comes around £80,000, cost of attending university. Now we can calculate the financial benefits, taking an average salary, deducting tax, assuming tax policies remain constant, and then multiplying that over an assumed 40-year career, we get lifetime earnings of £940,000. Using the earlier figures for non-graduates, we can estimate lifetime earnings to be around £680,000. The difference caused by the degree is £260,000, more than the £80,000 cost. This gives an investment return ratio of 4 to 13, or slightly more than 1 to 3. How do the benefits of attending university compare to the costs? Favourably. Conclude a review of the hypothesis. Though there is some uncertainty regarding the less tangible outcomes of obtaining an economics degree, it is clear that the benefits outweigh the costs, particularly as it relates to salary and employability. Some areas for which more information should be gathered are specific employment data for economics graduates. Due to the scope and means of this investigation, the social science and business proxy was sufficient, but ideally more specific data regarding the employment of economics graduates would be considered. An investigation into the variability within the cohorts used here. Graduates, economics graduates, and non-graduates have been assumed to be homogeneous, and understanding of how similar individuals in these groups are would justify treating them as a single group. Establishing a causal link between degrees and the measured outcomes is important to justify the decision to attend university. So is it a smart economic decision to attend university? Absolutely.